Mara Chen had worked 347 graveyard shifts without incident, until two predators decided she'd be victim number 20. At 2:37 a.m., footage shows her writing "help" backwards on glass while the store appears empty. By 7 a.m., she's gone. What cameras missed was the truck with lights off and a man watching from Nevada. This is how one clerk survived 6 hours against killers who'd murdered 19 women before. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Mara pulled into the Flying J parking lot at 10:45, 15 minutes early like always. Her father had drilled punctuality into her since childhood. Army Rangers didn't do late. The gravel crunched under her Honda's tires as she parked in back near the dumpsters. Carl's truck sat by the front entrance, headlights still on while he finished his cigarette. She grabbed her backpack and walked toward the bright fluorescent glow of the store. October in Wyoming meant cold nights, and her breath came out in white puffs. The wind cut through her jacket, carrying the smell of diesel and sagebrush from the empty plains stretching in every direction. Route 191 ran straight as a rifle shot through this section, 8 miles to the nearest ranch, 23 to the next town. During graveyard shift, she'd see maybe 12 vehicles if she was lucky. Carl met her at the door, already shrugging into his coat. He looked tired, the way everyone looked after 8 hours of fluorescent lights and stale coffee. "Quiet night," he said, handing over the keys. "Restock the beer cooler. Registers at $420 in small bills." Mara nodded, running through her mental checklist. She'd worked here 18 months, saved almost $11,000 toward EMT school. Another year and she'd be out of here, riding ambulances instead of watching drunk truckers argue about lottery tickets. "Oh, weird thing," Carl said, pausing at the door. "Guy came in around 8. Didn't buy anything, just walked around. Asked what shifts you work." Something cold touched the base of Mara's spine. What did he look like? Tall, maybe 6'2", baseball cap pulled low, kept his head down. Carl shrugged. "Probably just some trucker with a crush. Happens." "He drive a semi." "Nah, pickup truck. Dark blue or black. Hard to tell in the lot lights." Carl pushed open the door. "You want me to mention it to Sheriff Dawson?" Mara forced a smile. "No, I'm good. Probably nothing." Carl left and she locked the door behind him, then immediately unlocked it. Store policy, always accessible during business hours. She walked to the counter and pulled up the security monitor. 9 cameras covered the property, 4 exterior, watching the pumps and access roads, 5 interior covering the aisles, registers, and back rooms. All feeds looked normal. Empty lot, empty store, just her and the hum of refrigeration units. She counted the register, $423, Carl had been close enough, then started her opening routine. Check hot dog warmers, brew fresh coffee, stock cigarette racks behind the counter. Her hands moved automatically while her mind circled back to Carl's comment. Guy asking about her schedule. That wasn't nothing. She'd dealt with creeps before. Came with the territory when you're a woman working nights alone. But they usually hit on her directly. This felt different, deliberate. She pulled up the security footage from 8 o'clock, scrubbing through until she found him. Tall, just like Carl said. Dark jacket, Carhartt style, baseball cap. He moved through the store slowly, pretending to browse, but his head kept turning toward the counter, toward where she'd normally be standing. The footage showed him leaving, climbing into a dark Dodge Ram parked at the far edge of the lot where the lights barely reached. He sat there for 11 minutes before driving off. Mara screenshot the image on her phone and made a note of the timestamp. Probably paranoid. Probably nothing. But her father's voice echoed in her head. Trust your gut. Your gut keeps you breathing. 12:30 rolled around and the night traffic started trickling in. Beth Morrison came first, her scrubs visible under her open jacket as she pushed through the door. She worked nights at the clinic in Pinedale, always stopped for coffee and a protein bar on her way in. Hey, Mara, you look tired. Been pulling doubles this week, Mara said, ringing up the coffee. 3:47. Beth swiped her card and paused. You be careful out here. I saw something weird on Route 191 about 15 miles south. Pickup truck just sitting on the shoulder with its lights off. Driver inside just watching the road. The cold feeling returned. Dark-colored truck. Yeah, actually, you know it. Maybe. Mara handed over the receipt. What time was this? Around 11:30. Gave me the creeps, so I didn't stop. Beth grabbed her coffee. Probably broke down, but still. Weird spot to just sit there. After Beth left, Mara pulled out her phone. 23% battery. She'd forgotten to charge it before her shift. She made a mental note to plug it in behind the counter. The door chimed again. Tom and Raylene Parker, a husband-wife trucker team she'd seen 100 times. They ran the Denver to Billings route, always stopped here around midnight for fuel and snacks. Mara, Tom said, how's the college fund coming? Getting there. Another year, maybe. Raylene loaded up on Red Bulls and beef jerky, while Tom paid for their diesel. You hear about the ghost motel? She asked. Which one? Sundowner Inn. Been closed 3-4 years now. Out on Route 3 Svinonu, about 30 miles east. Raylene lowered her voice. Drove past it last week. Somebody's staying there. Saw a generator running, lights in one of the rooms. Tom laughed. Probably just squatters. Maybe, but the parking lot had fresh tire tracks. Mara rang them up, her mind filing away the information. The Sundowner, she'd driven past it once or twice. Old motor lodge style, 20 units in a horseshoe shape. After the Parkers left, the store settled into the dead zone. Between 12:30 and 4 in the morning, traffic dropped to almost nothing. Ranch hands started moving around 4:30, and by 6 the breakfast crowd trickled in. But these middle hours belonged to silence and fluorescent lights. Mara plugged her phone into the outlet behind the counter. The connection was loose, the phone charging intermittently. The outlet had been acting up for weeks. 1:15 now. She restocked the shelves, keeping herself busy. The Marlboros needed refilling. The Budweiser cooler was running low. Normal tasks, normal night. Except her eyes kept drifting to the security monitors, scanning the empty lot, the dark access roads, the pools of shadow between the overhead lights. At 1:44, camera 3, rear exterior, flickered to static. 8 seconds of gray snow, then the feed came back online. Nothing visible. Empty parking area, dumpsters, her Honda sitting alone in the employee spots. Mara's hand hovered over the monitor controls. She pulled up the system log. Camera 3 had gone offline for exactly 8 seconds. The log showed something else. Remote access from an external IP address at 1:43, 60 seconds before the camera failed. Someone had logged into their security system from outside the building. Mara pulled her phone from the charger. 19%, barely holding. She tried to trace the IP address, but the browser kept stalling. 1 bar of signal, then none, then 2 bars. Cell service out here was always spotty, but tonight it felt worse. She opened the store computer instead and copied the IP address into a lookup tool. Henderson, Nevada. The result loaded slowly. She stared at the location, trying to make sense of it. Nevada was 3 states away. Why would someone in Nevada be accessing a gas station security system in rural Wyoming? The door chimed and she nearly jumped. A sedan pulled up to pump 4, middle-aged woman in a business suit looking exhausted. Normal customer. Mara forced herself to breathe normally as the woman came inside, paid for gas, bought a bottle of water. You're out here all alone? The woman asked. Most nights, Mara said. It's usually quiet. That's unsettling. I couldn't do it. The woman shook her head. Lock your doors when you can, honey. Mara watched her drive away, tail lights disappearing north on 191. 2:05 now. She walked to the front door and looked out past the lot lights into the darkness. Nothing moved, just wind and empty highway and the vast Wyoming night pressing against the glass. She returned to the computer and dug deeper into the security logs. The remote access wasn't new. Someone had been logging into their system for 3 weeks, always between midnight and 3 in the morning. Always the same Nevada IP address. The logs showed them cycling through camera feeds, spending time on the interior cameras, watching the counter, watching where she worked. Her hands were shaking now. She pulled up Google Maps and searched for Henderson, Nevada, added Sundowner to the search. The Sundowner Motel appeared, permanently closed according to the listing. But Raylene had said someone was staying there. Generator running. Lights in the windows. Mara's phone buzzed with a text from her father. "How's the shift? Stay alert out there." He always checked in once or per graveyard shift, had since she started this job. She started to text back, then stopped. What would she say? "Someone's watching me through the cameras from a closed motel in Nevada." A customer asked about my schedule. She had pieces but no picture. Just a crawling sensation between her shoulder blades that something was very wrong. The cell signal dropped completely. She tried calling anyway. The sheriff's non-emergency line. The call connected for 2 seconds, then died. She tried again. Same thing. The phone showed 1 bar, then 0, then 1 again. Movement on camera 6 caught her eye. The side exterior feed showed the edge of the access road, barely in frame. A dark pickup truck sat there. 200 yards out, no lights. She couldn't make out details at this distance, but someone was definitely inside the cab. The truck had been there when she looked at the monitor. She'd checked that camera 30 seconds ago, and the road had been empty, which meant it had rolled in completely silent. Lights off. During those 30 seconds, she'd been watching the front lot. Mara's hand dropped to the drawer under the register. Carl kept a .38 revolver in there, unloaded, with a box of ammunition beside it. She'd never touched it before, never thought she'd need to. Her fingers found the cool metal of the cylinder, and she pulled the gun out, hands steadier than she expected. She didn't load the gun yet, just confirmed its location, felt its weight, then slid it back into the drawer. Loading it meant acknowledging this was real. That someone sitting in a truck 200 yards away in the darkness was more than coincidence. Mara kept her movements casual, refilling the coffee station like nothing was wrong. If he was watching the cameras, and the logs said he was, she couldn't let him know she'd spotted him. Her father had taught her that awareness was an advantage only if you kept it hidden. Let the enemy think you're oblivious. She walked to the front window with a spray bottle and paper towels. Cleaning the glass gave her a reason to look outside. The pickup stayed in position on the access road, engine running. She could see the faint exhaust vapor in the cold air. No license plate visible from this angle. 2 minutes passed, 3, 4. The truck didn't move. Then slowly it rolled forward onto the main lot. No headlights, just the vehicle itself emerging from the darkness. It stopped at pump 7, the farthest from the building, 40 yards away. Engine still running. The driver didn't get out, just sat there, watching. Mara finished wiping the window, turned away like she hadn't noticed, walked back to the counter. On the security monitor, she could see him clearly now. Male, tall, dark jacket, baseball cap. Same build as the guy from 8 o'clock. Had to be. Her phone was at 8%. She tried 911. The call connected for 3 seconds. She heard the beginning of the dispatcher's greeting, then cut to silence. Tried again. Same result. The cell signal was being jammed. She picked up the landline behind the counter. No dial tone. Dead. Someone had cut the phone line. Mara set the receiver down carefully, her mind shifting gears. No outside help was coming. She was alone with this. The realization should have terrified her, but instead something cold and focused settled over her. 6 minutes now and the truck hadn't moved. The driver was establishing dominance, making her understand that he controlled the situation. Classic predator behavior. Except she wasn't helpless. She knew the building layout better than anyone. Knew every exit, every hiding spot, every potential weapon. Mara moved through the store, keeping her actions normal but purposeful. She unlocked the back delivery door but propped a broom against it at an angle. If someone tried to enter, the broom would fall and give her warning. She moved the fire extinguisher from the back hallway to behind the counter. Grabbed a box cutter from the supply room and slipped it into her back pocket. The storage room had a window that opened onto the east side of the building. She'd never used it, but she checked it now. The latch was stiff, took some force, but it opened. She removed the screen and left the window cracked an inch. Escape route if she needed it. 2:24 in the morning. The truck was still at pump 7. Then the driver's door opened. He stepped out, stood beside the vehicle. 6'2", maybe 220 pounds. He wasn't even pretending to pump gas. Just standing there in the cold, staring at the store. At her. Mara returned to the counter, pulled the revolver from the drawer, and loaded 3 bullets into the cylinder. Her hands didn't shake at all. He walked slowly around his truck, checking the tires, taking his time. Performance art. He wanted her to see him, wanted her to understand he wasn't in any hurry. Mara tucked the revolver into her waistband, let her shirt cover it. She grabbed a rag and started wiping down the counter, keeping her head down but tracking him on the security monitors. He completed his circle of the truck and climbed back inside. Sat there. Engine running. 2:29. At 2:33, he drove to pump 3. Much closer now. He got out and started pumping gas, but his eyes never left the store windows. The pump clicked off. $10.38. He replaced the nozzle and walked toward the entrance. The door chime made her flinch, but she caught it, smoothed it into reaching for the register. He walked in and the air changed. The store felt smaller with him in it. Pump 3, he said. His voice was flat, empty, and Marlboro Reds. That'll be $23.47 with the gas, Mara said. Her voice came out steady. He pulled out exact change, counted it slowly on the counter. His hands were thick, scarred across the knuckles. He took the cigarettes and stood there, not leaving. Long night? He asked. It's quiet usually. She met his eyes. How's the road? Empty. He smiled slightly. No warmth in it. Real empty. Nobody around for miles. The pause stretched between them. Must get lonely, he said. I keep busy. He nodded, turned to leave, then stopped at the door. You're here every graveyard shift, right? Tuesday through Saturday. Her blood froze, but her face stayed neutral. Most weeks. Good to know. He pushed through the door. See you around. Mara watched him climb into his truck. He didn't drive away. Parked at pump 7 again, back to the original distance. The threat had been delivered. She pulled up the security footage and zoomed in on his face from when he'd been at the counter. White male, 40s, dark beard, scarring on his left cheek. Old burn mark, maybe. She screenshot it, tried to send it to her father. The message failed. 2:41 now. Mara opened the security logs again. The Nevada IP had logged in 4 minutes ago, right when he'd been inside. Someone else was watching, someone remote, coordinating. This wasn't one predator, it was a team. She checked the exterior cameras systematically. Camera 8 caught movement. A white van with no rear windows had pulled onto the shoulder half a mile away. Just sitting there. Engine running. 2 vehicles now. 2 different positions. And someone in Nevada controlling the cameras. This was coordinated. Planned. Professional. She wasn't dealing with some opportunistic creep. She was looking at people who'd done this before. Mara went to the office and started digging through the security archives. She scrubbed backward through the recordings, looking for the dark pickup. Found it. 17 days ago, parked on the access road. 14 days ago, edge of the lot. 9 days ago, pump 7. Each visit, he'd gotten closer. On the oldest footage, the camera briefly caught his rear bumper. A sticker. Partial image of a sunset, orange and red rays. She zoomed in. The design was distinctive, commercial looking. Mara searched Sunset Logo Motel on the store computer. Third result down, the Sundowner Inn. The logo matched perfectly. Henderson, Nevada, the Sundowner Motel. Someone operating from there was watching her cameras, and the man in the pickup had been there recently enough to have their bumper sticker. She opened a new search, Missing Women Wyoming Truck Stops. The results made her stomach drop. 18 months ago, woman disappeared from a truck stop near Rock Springs. Last seen on security footage acting normally. Store locked from inside when morning crew arrived. She was gone. 3 years ago, cashier vanished from a convenience store in Montana. Security showed nothing unusual until closing. Then she disappeared. Building secure, alarm armed. 4 more cases across Wyoming, Montana, Utah. All graveyard shift workers. All women working alone. All vanished without evidence. She was looking at a serial killer's hunting ground, and she was next. Her phone was down to 4%. She typed everything into a draft email. The IP address, the Sundowner connection, The truck description, screenshots. Addressed it to her father, the sheriff, Beth. Hit send. The message sat in the outbox, spinning. No signal. 2:53 in the morning. The pickup was still at pump 7. The white van had moved closer, now visible on camera 4. They were positioning. Mara made a decision. She couldn't wait for them to make the first move. She needed to change the dynamic. She walked to the front door and looked directly at the pickup truck. Let him see her looking. Then she turned and walked deliberately to the back room, making sure she was visible on the interior cameras. Rattled the delivery door. Acted like she was considering running. Bait. She wanted him to think she was panicking. It would make him comfortable. Make him move faster than he'd planned. She returned to the counter and slumped in the chair, head in her hands. Perfect image of someone breaking down. The cameras would show exactly what she wanted them to show. But her hand was on the revolver, and she was watching the monitors, waiting for them to take the bait. The van started moving first, pulled onto the main lot, parked behind the building near her Honda. Blocking her vehicle. The pickup driver got out again. This time he started walking toward the store. Not casual anymore. Purposeful. 3:02 in the morning. It was starting. Mara stood and moved to the aisle between the shelves and the counter. The gun was in her hand now, held low against her leg. The door opened. He walked in and locked it behind him. Flipped the sign to closed. No more pretending. "You look tired," he said, walking toward the counter. His boots were heavy on the tile floor. "Long week." Mara didn't answer. She watched him close the distance between them. 15 feet, 12 feet, 10. He stopped at the counter, hands resting on the surface. "Store's closed now. Just you and me. We can do this the easy way or the hard way." "There's a third way," Mara said. He smiled. "What's that?" "The way where you walk out that door and keep driving?" "Not happening." He leaned forward. "I've been watching you for 3 weeks. Learned your whole routine. When you check cameras, when you use the bathroom, when you're most distracted. You're alone out here. Nobody knows what happens in the next hour." "Wrong," Mara said. "I know." This story takes time to craft. If you're enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. "You look tired," he said, walking toward the counter. His boots were heavy on the tile floor. "Long week." Mara didn't answer. She watched him close the distance. 15 feet, 12 feet, 10. He stopped at the counter, hands resting on the surface. "Store's closed now. Just you and me. We can do this the easy way or the hard way." "There's a third way," Mara said. He smiled. "What's that?" "The way where you walk out that door and keep driving?" "Not happening." He leaned forward. "I've been watching you for 3 weeks. You're alone out here. Nobody knows what happens in the next hour." "Wrong," Mara said. "I know." His smile faded. He started to move around the counter. Mara grabbed the fire extinguisher with her left hand and pulled the pin. When he cleared the edge of the counter, she blasted him full in the face. The white chemical cloud hit him like a fist. He screamed, stumbled backward, hands clawing at his eyes. She didn't wait. Ran for the storage room, her planned escape route. Behind her, she could hear him crashing into displays, choking, cursing. The storage room door slammed shut behind her. She shoved a metal shelving unit against it. The window was still cracked open from earlier. She grabbed the frame and pulled. It moved 6 inches, then stuck. The old mechanism was rusted. Behind her, the door rattled. He was hitting it, testing it. Mara braced her foot against the wall and pulled harder. The window shifted another 4 inches. Not enough. She needed at least 18 inches to fit through. The door splintered. He was putting his weight into it now. The shelving unit scraped across the floor, moving inch by inch with each impact. She abandoned the window and looked around the storage room. 10 by 12 feet, shelves on 3 walls, 1 door being broken down, 1 window stuck. She was trapped. The door cracked. A hole appeared near the handle. His hand reached through, feeling for the shelving unit. Mara pulled the box cutter from her pocket and flipped the blade open. 3 inches of sharp steel. She positioned herself behind the largest shelving unit, out of his line of sight. The door gave way. The shelving unit crashed forward and he burst into the room, still half blind from the chemicals, face red and streaming tears. But he was functioning, moving, angry. He couldn't see her immediately in the shadows. She had maybe 2 seconds. Mara lunged low and slashed at his leg. The blade caught him across the back of his calf, cutting through denim into muscle. He screamed and his leg buckled. She bolted past him, back into the main store. But the white van driver was there, standing in the back entrance, blocking her path. Older, 50s, calm expression. He'd entered through the delivery door while she'd been trapped. "Going somewhere?" he asked. She was caught between them. Pickup driver behind her bleeding and enraged. Van driver in front blocking the exit. The front door was locked and 30 feet away. 2 of them, one of her. And she just made the pickup driver very angry. Mara didn't hesitate. She ran for the store aisles, putting displays between her and the van driver. 5 aisles, 30 feet long each. Cover, concealment. "Don't make this harder," the van driver called out. His voice was steady, pleasant. "We've done this 17 times. You're not the first who fought." Behind her, the pickup driver limped out of the storage room, leaving a blood trail. "I'm going to make you suffer for that." "No," the van driver said sharply. "We stick to the method. She disappears. No body, no evidence." Mara crouched at the end of aisle 3, breathing hard. The gun was still in her waistband, but she had 3 bullets. 2 men. She needed better odds. The store had security mirrors in the corners. She used them to track positions. Van driver moving through aisle 1, checking displays. Pickup driver limping toward aisle 5, trying to flank her. They were coordinating, practiced. "Your name is Mara Chen," the van driver said. 24 years old. Father is David Chen, retired Army Ranger. You're saving for EMT school. We know everything about you." The detail froze her. They'd researched her completely. "Nobody expects to hear from you until tomorrow evening. That gives us 14 hours. More than enough time." Movement in the mirror. Pickup driver was 2 aisles over. She shifted position to aisle 4. Her hand brushed something on the bottom shelf. Lighter fluid. The camping section. She grabbed 2 bottles. "I've done this 17 times, the van driver said. "You're number 18. I've learned patience. Eventually you'll make a mistake." 17 victims. 17 women hunted like this. 17 families with no answers. 18 is unlucky, Mara called out. "Maybe that's you." Silence. Then the van driver laughed. "Spirit, I like that, but you're cornered. Both exits covered. No phone, no help coming. What's your plan?" She didn't answer. She was moving, lighter fluid bottles in hand, working toward the front. The propane cage was outside, visible through the windows. 12 tanks. The pickup driver appeared at the end of her aisle, blocking her path. Blood soaked his pant leg, but he was still moving. He had a knife now, 8-inch blade. "End of the line," he said. Mara pulled the revolver and aimed center mass. "Back up," he smiled, blood on his teeth. "You won't shoot." "Wrong," Mara said. "My father taught me to shoot when I was 9. I don't miss at this distance." His smile faltered. "Back up," she repeated, "or I put a hole in your chest." He took 1 step back, then another. She advanced, gun trained on him. In the mirror, she saw the van driver moving to intercept from aisle 1. She was running out of time. The van driver stepped into view at the front, cutting off her angle to the door. She was pinned again. Pickup driver behind her, van driver ahead, 30 feet of open floor between. "Last chance," the van driver said. "Drop the gun. Come quietly. I promise it'll be quick." "Like the 17 before me?" Mara asked. "Exactly like them." She looked at him clearly. Gray hair, weathered face, calm eyes. He looked like somebody's grandfather, and he'd murdered 17 women. "You're going to make a mistake," Mara said. "You're confident. That makes you predictable." "Predictable? I've been doing this 12 years without getting caught. I'm very good at what I do." "You were good at it," Mara said. She shot the front window. Glass exploded outward. The gunshot was deafening. Both men flinched, covered their ears. Mara ran, not toward the broken window, but toward the propane cage outside. She grabbed the lighter fluid bottles and squeezed, spraying a trail from the window to the propane tanks. The fluid made a clear accelerant path. The van driver recovered first. "Stop her!" Pickup driver lunged, but his injured leg betrayed him. He fell, crashed into a display. Mara reached the propane cage and yanked open the door. 12 tanks. She opened valves on 3 of them, gas hissing into the cold air. "You're insane," the van driver said. "You'll kill yourself." "Maybe," Mara said, "but I'll take you with me." She pulled out a cigarette lighter from her pocket, held it over the lighter fluid trail. "One spark and this area goes up. Fire department is 23 minutes away. That's enough time for these tanks to heat and explode." The van driver stopped, calculation in his eyes. "You're bluffing," pickup driver said. "Try me," Mara said. She clicked the lighter. Flame appeared. "I've got nothing to lose. You've already decided to kill me. This way I take you both out." The fire alarm started blaring. The sprinkler system kicked on. Mara hadn't expected that, but it helped. The noise, the chaos, the water. Disruption. "The alarm company will call fire department," the van driver said. "That gives us maybe 15 minutes. 15 minutes, Mara said. "Plenty of time for me to light this fire and watch you burn." But she knew the truth. The sprinklers would make igniting the lighter fluid nearly impossible. She was running a bluff with a weak hand. The van driver knew it too. He took a step forward. "You're not going to do it," he said. "You want to live." "So did 17 other women," Mara said. "How'd that work out?" She clicked the lighter again, held it closer to the fluid trail. "Final warning," she said. "Walk away or burn." The van driver smiled. "You first." He pulled a gun from his jacket. Small revolver, probably a .22. Mara had 2 bullets left. He had at least 5. The math wasn't good. The standoff held for 3 seconds. Then the pickup driver made his move. He came at her from behind, limping fast despite his injured leg. Mara heard him and spun, but he was closer than she expected. His hand grabbed her wrist, the one holding the gun. They struggled. He was stronger, but his leg was bleeding badly, weakening him. She brought her knee up hard into his injured calf. He screamed, and his grip loosened. She twisted free and ran toward the broken window. The van driver fired. The bullet hit the doorframe 6 inches from her head. Wood splintered. Mara dove through the broken window, landing hard on the pavement outside. Glass cut her hands and forearms, but she kept moving. The cold October air hit her like a shock after the heated store. She scrambled to her feet and ran for her Honda in the back lot. The van was parked there, blocking her car. She changed direction, heading for the highway. Route 191 stretched empty in both directions. No headlights, no traffic, just darkness and 2 killers behind her. The standoff held for 3 seconds. Then the pickup driver made his move. He came at her from behind, limping fast despite his injured leg. Mara heard him and spun, but he was closer than she expected. His hand grabbed her wrist, the one holding the gun. They struggled. He was stronger, but his leg was bleeding badly. She brought her knee up hard into his injured calf. He screamed and his grip loosened. She twisted free, but the gun fell, skittering across the wet floor toward the broken window. The van driver fired. The bullet hit the doorframe 6 inches from her head. Mara dove for cover behind the counter. No gun now. 2 armed men, fire alarm blaring, sprinklers drowning everything. She needed a new plan. The office. If she could get to it, she could lock them out of the camera feeds. She crawled along the floor, staying low, heading for the back hallway. Water from the sprinklers soaked through her clothes. "She's moving," pickup driver shouted. Gunshot. The bullet hit a display of motor oil above her head. Cans exploded, black oil mixing with the water. Mara scrambled into the hallway and kicked the office door shut behind her. No lock. She shoved the desk chair under the handle. It wouldn't hold long, but she needed seconds. The office was small, barely 8 by 10 feet. Security monitors covered one wall. She could see both men on the screens, coordinating. Van driver pointing, giving instructions. Pickup driver limping toward the hallway. She had maybe 30 seconds. The desk had 3 drawers. She yanked them open. Office supplies, old receipts, bottom drawer, a baseball bat. Carl kept it for robberies. Aluminum, 32 inches. Not much against 2 guns, but better than nothing. Someone hit the door. The chair held. Another hit. The chair legs scraped backward. Mara grabbed the security system keyboard and pulled up the remote access logs. The Nevada IP was still connected. She kicked them out of the system, changed the admin password, locked down all remote access. Whoever was in Nevada just lost their eyes. The door crashed open. Pickup driver came through first, knife in hand. Got you now. Mara swung the bat, connected with his knife hand. Bones cracked. The knife dropped. She swung again, aiming for his head. He ducked, but the bat clipped his shoulder, sent him spinning. Van driver appeared in the doorway, gun raised. Drop it. She was cornered in the tiny office. No room to maneuver. No exits. I said drop it, he repeated. Mara glanced at the security monitors. Camera 9 showed the propane tanks outside. Valves still open. Gas still flowing. She looked back at the van driver. You want me. Come get me. She swung the bat at the monitors. Glass exploded. Sparks flew. The room plunged into darkness except for emergency lighting. In the confusion, she dove past him, rolled into the hallway, came up running. Behind her, she heard cursing footsteps. She burst back into the main store. The sprinklers had slowed to a trickle. The floor was flooded 3 inches deep. She splashed through, heading for the broken window. Her gun was still there on the floor near the glass. She grabbed it, checked the cylinder. 2 bullets left. Outside, she could see the propane tanks. The lighter was gone, washed away. But there were other ways to start a fire. The van driver and pickup driver emerged from the hallway together. Both armed, both furious. Nowhere left to run, the van driver said. Mara raised the gun, aimed at the propane tanks visible through the broken window. Last chance. Walk away. You're bluffing, he said. Again. Maybe, Mara said. Let's find out. She fired. The bullet hit the concrete next to the propane tanks. Sparks flew, but nothing ignited. The gas was dispersing too fast. Her gamble had failed. Both men realized it at the same time. The van driver smiled. Empty threats. He raised his gun. Mara dove behind the counter as he fired. The bullet punched through the cigarette display. She had 1 bullet left. 2 men with multiple rounds each. She needed to even the odds. The pickup driver was limping badly now. Blood loss was catching up to him. He leaned against a display rack, knife still in his good hand, but he looked pale. Target the weak one first. Mara popped up from behind the counter and fired her last bullet. Center mass. The pickup driver went down hard, clutching his chest. The van driver fired back. Missed. She was already moving, sprinting for the back hallway. Her gun was empty, but he didn't know that. She made it to the storage room. The window she'd tried earlier was still stuck at 6 inches. She grabbed a shelf bracket and smashed at the window frame. Wood splintered. The window shifted another 8 inches. Almost enough. Behind her, she heard footsteps, the van driver coming. It's over, Mara, he called out. You're out of ammunition. You're exhausted. And I've got all the time in the world. He was right about most of it. She was exhausted, running on pure adrenaline now. You killed your partner, she called back. That blood trail says he's not getting up. Silence. Then footsteps moving away. He was checking. Bought her seconds. Mara attacked the window frame again. The wood was old, rotted. It gave way with a crack. The window opened to 18 inches. She'd have to squeeze through. She heard the van driver curse. Loud, angry, she'd been right. You're dead, he shouted. Pure rage now. Mara pushed her head and shoulders through the window opening. The frame scraped her ribs. She wiggled, forcing herself through. Her hips caught. Too wide. She was stuck halfway. The van driver appeared in the doorway, saw her, smiled, raised his gun. Nowhere to go, he said. Mara kicked backward with both feet. Something tore. Her shirt maybe, or skin. She pushed harder. Her hips cleared the frame. She fell through the window onto the cold ground outside. Gunshot. The bullet hit the wall inches from where she'd been. She scrambled to her feet and ran. The east side of the building was dark. The landscape was rough, sagebrush and rocks. Her ankle twisted, but she kept running. Behind her, she heard the van driver climbing through the window, following. Route 191 was 200 yards ahead, empty still, but at least outside she had space. She ran. The Wyoming plains stretched endlessly, no cover except scattered sagebrush. Mara's lungs burned. Her legs felt like concrete. She'd been running track in high school, but that was 6 years ago. Behind her, the van driver was gaining. He was older but fresher. Headlights appeared on Route 191, northbound, coming fast. Mara changed direction, angling toward the highway. 200 yards became 150. 100. Her throat was raw from gasping cold air. The van driver fired. The bullet kicked up dirt 3 feet to her right. The headlights were approaching. A semi-truck. Her only chance. 75 yards to the highway. 50, 25. Another gunshot. Closer this time. Mara hit the shoulder of Route 191 and stumbled onto the asphalt. Waved her arms. The semi's air horn blasted. Brakes screamed. She dove to the far shoulder as the semi roared past, missing her by inches. She looked back across the highway. The van driver had stopped at the edge of the road. The semi was between them now, the driver pulling over. The truck's lights illuminated everything. He looked at Mara across the 2 lanes. Looked at the truck driver climbing down. Looked at the Flying J behind him with its broken windows and alarms blaring. The calculation was clear. Stay and fight with a witness, or run. He chose survival, turned and ran back toward the gas station, toward his van. Mara tried to stand, but her legs gave out. The adrenaline was gone. She collapsed on the shoulder, shaking. The truck driver ran over. "Miss, are you okay? What happened?" She pointed back at the gas station, at the van driver running across the lot, at the white van starting up, pulling away, heading south. "Call 911, she managed. 2 men, one's down inside, the other's getting away. White van, Nevada plates." She rattled off the partial plate number. The driver pulled out his phone and dialed. Mara lay on the cold shoulder and watched the white van's taillights disappear. He was getting away, but he'd left evidence. His partner's body, his DNA, security footage. He thought he was escaping. He was wrong. The truck driver was talking to dispatch. Mara heard sirens in the distance. Help was coming. She closed her eyes. 4:53 in the morning, dawn coming. She'd survived the night. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Impossible. It had died hours ago, but the buzz was insistent. She pulled it out. 5% battery somehow. A text from her father. "You okay?" Her hands shook as she typed. "I'm alive. That's enough." She hit send and the phone died, but the message went through. 3 seconds later, her phone lit up with an incoming call. "Emergency power reserve." Her father. She answered. "Dad." "Mara, what's wrong?" "2 men tried to kill me tonight. Serial killers. I fought them. One's dead. One got away." Her voice was flat, shock setting in. "I need you. I'm coming. Where are you?" "Flying J on 191. Police are on the way." "I'm 6 hours out. Stay on the line." The sirens were closer now. Red and blue lights appeared on the horizon. Sheriff Dawson finally arriving. "I'm here, Dad," she said. "I'm still here." "How bad are you hurt?" her father asked. "Cuts, bruises, twisted ankle, nothing broken." She took a breath. "Dad, they've been doing this for 12 years. 17 women before me, all dead. But not you," he said. "You fought back. You survived. That's what matters. I killed someone tonight. Self-defense. You did what you had to do." His voice was firm. "You're alive. Hold on to that." The sheriff's cruiser pulled onto the shoulder, lights flashing. Deputy Martinez stepped out, hand on his weapon. "I have to go," Mara said. "Police are here. I'll be there in 6 hours. Don't give any statements without a lawyer present. You hear me?" "I hear you, outer." "How bad are you hurt?" her father asked. "Cuts, bruises, twisted ankle. Nothing broken." She took a breath. "Dad, they've been doing this for 12 years. 17 women before me, all dead. But not you," he said. "You fought back. You survived. That's what matters. I killed someone tonight. Self-defense. You did what you had to do." His voice was firm. "You're alive. Hold on to that." The sheriff's cruiser pulled onto the shoulder, lights flashing. Deputy Martinez stepped out, hand on his weapon. "I have to go," Mara said. "Police are here. Don't give any statements without a lawyer present. You hear me?" "I hear you," she ended the call. Deputy Martinez approached carefully. "Ma'am, are you injured?" "There's a dead man inside the gas station," Mara said. Her voice sounded distant. "His partner escaped in a white van heading south. Nevada plates, partial number NV4HY. Martinez radioed it in immediately. He turned back to Mara. What happened here? They tried to kidnap me. Serial killers. I have evidence. Security footage. IP addresses. She tried to stand, but her legs wouldn't cooperate. Need to sit down. The EMTs reached her with a stretcher. A woman, 40s, kind eyes. Let's get you looked at. Can you tell me your name? Mara Chen, 24. No allergies, no medications. They loaded her onto the stretcher. Sheriff Dawson arrived, his face grave. The Flying J with its broken windows and blaring alarms. The truck driver giving his statement. Mara covered in cuts and bruises. Mara, Dawson said, walking alongside the stretcher. I need to know what happened. My father said not to give statements without a lawyer. Dawson nodded slowly. Smart man. But I need to know if there are more victims, more suspects. Mara closed her eyes, then opened them. There's a laptop in Nevada, Sundowner Motel in Henderson. Someone was watching the security cameras from there. Check the store computer. I uploaded everything to cloud storage. Email sent to my father and Beth Morrison. The Sundowner's been closed for years, Dawson said. Someone's living there. That's their base. She grabbed his arm. 17 women. He said 17 women before me. You need to check missing persons cases, truck stops, convenience stores, graveyard shift workers, Wyoming, Montana, Utah. Dawson's face went pale. 17. The one who got away is the leader. Older guy, 50s, gray hair. The one inside is younger, his apprentice. They've been doing this for 12 years. Her voice broke. I need you to stop him before number 19. We will, Dawson promised. FBI will be involved by sunrise. The EMTs loaded her into the ambulance. As the doors closed, Mara saw dawn touching the horizon. 5:23 in the morning. She'd been fighting for over 3 hours. The ambulance pulled away. Through the window, she watched the Flying J recede. Her workplace, her battlefield, the place where she'd almost died, but didn't. 3 days later, Mara sat in a hospital bed in Cheyenne, watching FBI agent Mara Chen flip through a laptop showing evidence from the Sundowner Motel. Her father sat beside her bed, hadn't left except to sleep in the chair. Sheriff Dawson stood by the door. We found everything, Agent Chen said. Surveillance footage of you and 18 other women, detailed notes on routines, vulnerabilities, timing. He called it his hunting journal. Mara's stomach turned. 18. I thought 17. He was planning you as number 19, but there was another woman, truck stop in Utah 2 weeks ago. She disappeared the night before he started watching you. Agent Chen closed the laptop. He'd already moved on to his next target. Did you find her? Not yet, but we have locations. He documented everything. Agent Chen paused. Recovery teams are working now. Mara looked at her hands bandaged from the cuts. What about the one who got away? Paul Hendricks, 54. We identified him from your footage. Former military, dishonorably discharged. He'd been living off-grid since 2011. Agent Chen pulled up a photo. Every law enforcement agency in 6 states is looking for him, but you haven't caught him. Not yet, but we will. Agent Chen leaned forward. What you did, the evidence you preserved, the way you fought, you solved 19 cold cases. Families who've been waiting years finally have answers, and you survived when 18 others didn't. I got lucky, Mara said. No, her father said. You were prepared. You were smart. You used everything I taught you. That's training. Sheriff Dawson cleared his throat. The partner you shot, Brandon Cooper, 31. He's alive, in custody, talking. Says he met Hendricks online 2 years ago. Hendricks recruited him, trained him. He's cooperating. Completely. Giving us locations, methods, everything. He's looking at life without parole. Agent Chen stood. Are you up for a video statement? We want to warn other women who work graveyard shifts alone. Your story could save lives. Mara looked at her father. He nodded slightly. What would I say? She asked. The truth. That you recognized the warning signs. That you prepared. That you fought back. Agent Chen's voice was gentle. And that surviving doesn't mean being fearless. It means being smart. Mara thought about the 17 women who hadn't survived, thought about the woman in Utah, thought about all the future victims planned in that journal. "I'll do it," she said, "but I want to say something else. I want other women to know they're not paranoid for being afraid, that their instincts matter, that if something feels wrong, it probably is." "Perfect," Agent Chen said. After they left, Mara's father squeezed her hand. "How are you really doing?" "I don't sleep," she admitted. "Every time I close my eyes, I see him. Both of them. I hear the gunshot, feel the glass breaking." She paused. "The therapist says it's PTSD, says it'll get better with time." "It will," her father said, "but it won't go away. You'll carry this. The question is whether you let it destroy you or make you stronger." "I don't feel strong." "You are. You survived something that killed 18 other women." Mara looked out the window at the Cheyenne skyline. Normal people going about normal days. "I'm not going back to graveyard shifts," she said. "Good," her father replied. "You've earned daylight." 6 months later, Mara walked into a classroom at Wyoming Community College, carrying textbooks for her EMT certification program. The morning shift at the campus bookstore paid less than the Flying J, but she could work 7 to 3, surrounded by people in daylight. She'd sold her Honda and bought a used Subaru. She kept pepper spray on her keychain, a personal alarm in her pocket, and a GPS tracker her father had installed. Overkill, maybe, but she slept better. The nightmares had decreased from every night to twice a week. Her therapist called it progress. Her phone buzzed. Text from Agent Chen. "Call me when you can." Mara stepped into the hallway and dialed. "We got him," Agent Chen said. "Paul Hendricks. Border Patrol caught him trying to cross into Mexico. He's in custody." Mara's legs went weak. She sat down hard on a bench. "When?" "2 hours ago. I wanted you to hear it from me." Agent Chen paused. "He was carrying another hunting journal, had 3 new targets identified. You stopped him before he could start again. 3 more women. 3 more women who are safe tonight because of you." Agent Chen's voice was firm. "He's facing 19 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 40 other charges. He's never seeing daylight again." Mara closed her eyes. She'd imagined this moment for 6 months. Thought it would feel like victory. Instead, she just felt tired. Sad for the women who hadn't made it. Grateful she had. "Thank you for telling me," she said. "The families of the victims want to meet you." "Thank you. We're organizing a gathering next month. No pressure." Mara thought about it. 19 families. 19 women who'd been someone's daughter, sister, mother, friend. "I'll be there," she said. They deserved to know their daughters weren't forgotten. After hanging up, Mara sat on the bench. Students passed by, laughing, complaining about exams, living normal lives. She'd been one of them once. Before October 23rd, before 3:02 in the morning, her phone buzzed. Her father. "Heard the news. Proud of you." She smiled slightly. He always knew. Mara stood and walked back to class. She had an exam on trauma response protocols in 20 minutes. The irony wasn't lost on her. She was studying how to save lives after nearly losing her own. But she was here, studying, living, moving forward. That had to count for something. 3 weeks later, Mara stood in a community center in Cheyenne, surrounded by photographs. 19 faces smiled from frames arranged on tables. 19 women, ages 19 to 47, from 6 different states. The families had come from everywhere. Some had been waiting 12 years for answers. All of them looked at Mara with expressions she couldn't quite read. Gratitude mixed with grief. An older woman approached her. Late 60s, gray hair, kind eyes. "You're Mara." "Yes, ma'am." "I'm Patricia Rodriguez. My daughter Elena was his first victim, 12 years ago." She took Mara's hands. "For 12 years, I didn't know what happened to my baby. You gave me answers. You gave me closure." "I'm so sorry," Mara whispered. "You stopped him. That's what matters." Patricia squeezed her hands. "Elena would have fought just like you did." One by one, the families approached, each with a story. Mara listened to all of them, memorized their names, promised to remember. Agent Chen found her later by the window. "How are you holding up?" "They don't blame me for surviving," Mara said. "I thought they would." "Why would they?" You did what their daughters couldn't. You won. What happens now? She asked. Now you live, Agent Chen said simply. You finish school. You become an EMT. You save lives. And the nightmares. They'll fade, not disappear, but fade. Eventually, you'll go whole days without thinking about it. Agent Chen smiled. You'll build a life on the other side of this. Mara looked at the photographs one more time. 19 faces that would never age. But she could. She was alive to see it for all of them. That had to be enough. If this story meant something to you, drop a comment and share it. It helps the next person find their way here.